Coming up, let's find out what the new Jeep Cherokee and Pamela Anderson have in common. Obvious answer, they've both been substantially augmented up the front. And you can't stop looking, even if you really want to, and even if you don't. I just spent 3 weeks driving the new Cherokee, the Longitude, the Limited and, personal favourite, the Trailhawk. And I still can't decide if it's beautiful or ugly. Is it haute couture or faux pas? Maybe that depends on you. Nobody ever accused Plastic Pammy of refinement or sophistication, right? But you can accuse the Cherokee of that. It's probably not the first thing that grabs your attention though. You are going to get noticed in the new Cherokee. It's designed to polarise opinion. So you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. There's not much in between. You jump in, you drive off. The first thing you notice is the doors shut like bank vaults. And then you're heading off down the road. The ride quality is excellent. It's nice and quiet inside the cabin. You start having a feel around at all the stuff. And there's plenty of premium materials that have been used inside the cockpit. You know, you could be mistaken for thinking this is actually a much more expensive SUV. If you're looking for the silver lining in Chrysler Corp's failed marriage to Daimler, it's that premium feel. There's a touch of Mercedes-Benz DNA in every new Jeep, even though Chrysler moved on and remarried. Cherokees have been a salient feature of the Australian automotive landscape for 2 decades now, but a lot has changed. The Cherokee returned to Australia in 1994 after something of a hiatus. And now, 20 years later, this car is making 53% more power with 20% less engine. That's pretty impressive. The 3.2 litre petrol Pentastar V6 has variable valve timing and delivers 200 kilowatts and 316 newton metres. That's more power than a 5 litre V8 was producing around the time the Cherokee came back to Australian shores 20 years ago. You don't need to worry about overtaking ability, it's got that covered. So the engine delivers, and it keeps delivering. It really likes a rev. The red line doesn't kick in until just before 7,000. And then you look at the specs and you say, 9-speed transmission, sensational. And you're expecting this silky smooth, sort of pseudo-seamless experience. Good luck with that, because this transmission, for whatever reason, is actually wrong-footed on plenty of occasions, and the result is it's just not as smooth as many Japanese 6-speeds. You can live with the transmission's foibles, it's not that bad. But it's not the only speed hump along the road to Cherokee ownership. Unfortunately, the new Cherokee's not about to win any ergonomics excellence awards. The wheel has a little bit too much of that horizontal bus type, orientation. And there's no left footrest for the driver, which is something of a fail in the 21st century. And when you reach down here for all the connectivity stuff, the SD card reader, the USB input jack, and the auxiliary input jack, well, they're almost vertical and there's no cover over the top of them at all. How long do you reckon it's going to take until they just fill up with junk and stop working? The new Cherokee proves that Jeep is on the fast track. Maybe it's not quite there yet, but it's certainly trending in the right direction compared with, say, Holden or Ford or Honda or Mitsubishi. There are 4 models in the range: the Sport, Longitude, Limited and Trailhawk. Sport is pretty much a price leader with a recommended retail of $33,500. Nice and affordable though, and not exactly a stripped out special. But the Sport is only front wheel drive, so you better kiss goodbye all, or at least most, off-road aspirations if you've only got the budget for a Cherokee Sport. Longitude is 39 grand, and that's all-wheel drive, but no low range. Longitude and Sport both ride on 17-inch alloys and have 5-inch centre displays and reversing cameras standard. Longitude adds climate control, auto wipers, auto headlamps, and a power tailgate. Another 5 grand will get you into the petrol limited for a total of 44k, plus on road costs. Also all-wheel drive, but no low range. Moderate off-road ability, dirt roads, fun at the beach, towing, all good. Limited gets a bigger 7-inch centre display, bi-xenon lamps, 9-speaker Alpine audio, leather, 18-inch alloys, and some other premium inclusions. Here's where it gets curly. The diesel is only available in the Limited. The outputs really aren't that staggering either. 125 kilowatts and 350 newton metres. That's not a patch on the Hyundai Santa Fe's 2.2 twin-turbo diesel, which has 16% more power and 25% more torque. And the Jeep diesel is, amazingly, another 5 grand over the price of the petrol. That's a lot to fork out for an engine, but you also get low range. So really you're getting an engine and a more advanced driveline. You're looking at 49 grand plus on-road costs for the Limited diesel. The one I want is the Trailhawk, but I want it with the diesel, which I can't have because they don't do that. It's a pity. You get rock crawling program built into the drive system. You go back to 17-inch alloys and that gives you more sidewall and better off-road compliance. There's an improved approach angle thanks to the different lower front bumper design, and you get red recovery points. Gotta love them. Trailhawk is $1,500 less than the diesel Limited, so there's a lot to like about the Trailhawk, except it being petrol only. Shame on you, Jeep product planners. Here's a trap for morons, and I'm happy to admit that I qualify here. On pole. I'm looking at the steering wheel, right? And there's 16 buttons staring right back at me. You could reboot the International Space Station with the Jeep Cherokee steering wheel. But all I want to do is turn the radio up. A reasonable proposition in the circumstances. The wheel's looking back at me like, Houston, we have a problem. You can translate Latin to Hebrew and back with this wheel, but the radio volume is beyond its sphere of influence, apparently. So I reach across the dash and I do it the old-fashioned way, with the knob, like when messages were delivered by carrier pigeon. This goes on for a week. Okay, 10 days. Chief, would you believe 12? Anyway, after this eternity of radio volume knob twiddling inclusive of the cone of silence, it turns out there is a button. Make that buttons, and they're hidden behind the steering wheel, where you'd have to be Nostradamus or worse, use the actual owner's manual to discover them. And using the owner's manual is an admission of defeat, right? Anyway, now you know. How embarrassment. Time for the elephant in the room. Can't have a conversation about owning a Jeep without using the R word, reliability, and the C word, cost of ownership. There's no getting around it. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence that Jeep is dragging the chain on reliability, not to mention JD Power's latest US vehicle dependability study. But I get the distinct impression they are improving rapidly. Too early to tell definitively on the new Cherokee yet, so buying one is going to be a leap of faith. But a lot of people are taking that leap. There's been a 50% sales boost in Jeep sales down under so far this year. So, high fives in the boardroom all around. If you want hardcore off-road ability and those distinctly polarising love it, hate it looks, the upper end of the Cherokee range is certainly on the short list. But if you don't really want to conquer the Widowmaker or cross the kind of mighty river that would have put Daniel Boone off his breakfast, you'd still have to benchmark the new Hyundai Santa Fe, which is, on objective criteria, a superior mainstream consumer SUV. It also has 7 seats and a more potent diesel engine, and a 6-speed transmission, admittedly fewer ratios, but it's much better integrated. There's a better warranty with the Santa Fe as well, and the sundry ownership concessions beat the Cherokee too. It's always good to benchmark the vehicle you think you want against another similar new vehicle. So, at the risk of committing Jeep heresy, I'm saying do hold back, at least until you've benchmarked the new Cherokee against something else. And then if you still really do want one, go nuts. If you want your next new vehicle, Jeep or otherwise, at the right price, visit the website autoexpert.com.au. 9 times out of 10, we can beat the price the dealer quotes you. Drive away. Leave a comment below if you like, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. I'm John Cadogan. Thanks for watching.